Fund for Development, Qatar Charity, as well as Spark from Netherlands. So this is a program where we have actually reviewed 200 startups and came down to 100. And from those 100, top 40 became the top leaders in this incubation over the last 5 months. We're entering our last month, and this fireside chat coaching, we are bringing the top leaders from their industries to really support this initiative. So with that, I would love to welcome Jack. Jack, welcome to Fireside Chat Global. Thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
Well, if you don't mind, do you mind telling first and foremost a little bit about yourself? I know you very well, but for our viewers and our attendees, who is Jack TESSOUKI? What excites him? What motivates them?
So I am the CEO of JM Edison. Basically, what we do is a fundraising company. I worked in innovation and funding for almost 10 years now. And we completed more than 600 projects in total, with plus more than 100 million euro in funding. We worked mainly with the Turkish company. Actually, when we decided to start with Turkey, because it was in 2018, where we detected that there is a huge innovation for potential, but there is a lack of know-how. So companies, they had great invention, they had great product and services, but they didn't know how to apply for funding. For example, we had a company that they applied for 9-10 times by themselves. And we took the project once, we submitted, we followed the criteria of the European Commission, and they received funding with one time.
Excellent, excellent.
So I lived in Spain for 18 years. Then I went to Germany. I went to Denmark for 1.5 years, more or less. Then Germany for 6 years. I was also living in Mexico, and I traveled like almost the world. And I met a lot of companies, and I made great friends. So that's basically me.
That's amazing. And, you know, over this journey, what were the biggest challenges you have? You know, is it the fundraising side or the, the European Union preparation side? Of course, today's focus will be on the European Union funding, but, you know, just to enter the discussion, what were the biggest challenges you faced?
I think the challenges is when you find the wrong mindset. Because if you want to apply for EU funding, first you have to have the right mindset. Before having the right product, before having the right team, before being at the exact moment, being lucky, etc., whatever other factors, the most important thing I would say is the right mindset. Yeah.
And then you look at this mindset. Let's turn off the open mics, please, better. Thank you so much. I would appreciate if everyone, Hatice bir sen satıl. Hatice bir sen satıl. Thank you. Apologies. So, you know, when you say mindset, can you open up for me, please? What do you mean by the mindset?
One of the mistakes that most companies they make is they think that EU funding is easy funding. Yes. And my experience has shown that there is no such a thing as easy funding. Even if it's a small amount, a lump sum amount, it doesn't matter. You have to have the right mindset, meaning that you have to take it as an adventure. You have to know that it will take time. Sometimes you can get the funding at the first time. Maybe you submit an application in 1 week, and in 1 month you receive the result, and you are granted this EU funding. But most of the time, like if we are talking about big amount, or if we are talking about EIC Accelerator, which is an extremely competitive funding, you have to know that only the application process, it might take 6 months, it might take more. And then receiving the grant, you have also to go through the grant agreement preparation. And if you're applying for blended finance, you have to go through the negotiation phase. So you have to have the right mindset in order to apply for EU funding. And not only EU funding, any kind of funding. Even if we take into consideration TESSOUKI. Even TESSOUKI, they have cost gap, TESSOUKI, right? So they have a lot of different funding. Even for that, you have to have the right mindset.
So you're saying trust the process, I guess.
Yes, always. Yeah.
It does take some time, and people are impatient. They want to get everything done quickly
Yes,
at that moment.
and
that's not the case all the time, right?
It's not possible if you don't have the right mindset. Because the first thing is you have to have the right mindset. The second thing is you have to have the perfect or a good product or service that that is innovative, and depending on which grant you're applying for, you have to adapt it to that grant. Or it has, for example, what technology readiness level you have. The technology readiness level measures basically where are you with your technology right now. So it goes from 0, it is idea, 9 commercialization.
Yes.
So you have to pass through the entire process in order to reach the commercialization phase. And for that reason, the European Commission, they provide this kind of tools or calls for each kind of technology readiness level, right? So if you are in technology readiness level in early stage 3, for example, you could go for Eurostage, Eureka Eurostage, where you have to join a consortium. So you have to find the right partner for the consortium. So you have to create the consortium. So you have to have also the documentation. You have to follow the guidelines. And for that, you have to, I wouldn't say you have to have the basic knowledge. What I would suggest is you have to know your technology. You have to know your company, your product, your team. And for the other aspect, it depends what you want. Do you want to invest time on applying to this EU funding by yourself, or do you want to hire an expert?
I see.
So these decisions are mainly based on budget. Do you have the budget for it or not? Does your national organization support this kind of innovation? What kind of support they are giving? In case of Turkey, somehow you are lucky. Why? Because you have TÜBİTAK, right?
Yes.
And TÜBİTAK, they do have the tools, and they do encourage entrepreneurs and companies to apply for funding.
Yes.
So
that's an advantage, but it's also a disadvantage. You know, you're going to do another layer of review and diligence, and that's not always easy. But I see what you're saying. So let's say if you are TRL 4 and you're entering a application TRL 1 to 3, then you're at the wrong level of application. Just you're above the game, and you're missing that opportunity. Correct?
Yeah, but the thing is, you will find. I'm sure you will find a call for each technology business level, and it will also help you improve your product. It will also help you advance your technology business level. So at the end, the right information will guide you, and also it's learning by doing, right? Because if you do not have an expert and you want to do it yourself, then you apply to EU funding. You receive the evaluation summary report. You try to improve your project. You try to improve your product. You apply again. But the question here: can you allow yourself to have that time to waste somehow that time? Because it's not waste. It's a learning experience. But can you allow yourself to invest that time, or is it better to go with someone that's already know about this and can somehow shorten the time of the application? It depends on your goal as a company. It depends on your goal as an entrepreneur. It depends on what you want and when. So a lot of companies, they have the right mindset, and they have a timeline. They are like, okay, we are going to apply for this grant. We are going to, if we are not successful, it doesn't matter, because we are going to apply for another grant at the same time in parallel. At the same time, we are going to have some kind of investor, or we are going to have an investment talk, and so on and so on. I think we lost Yavuz. I cannot hear you. Yeah.
Yavuz Bey in here, but maybe connected is not very good. Sometimes.
Okay.
Can go. We can go on actually.
Yeah. So basically, the first thing to take into consideration is to have the right mindset. once you have the right mindset and you are like, okay, I'm going to apply for funding, doesn't matter if it's national or European, and why I should apply with what innovation you have. The second thing is you have to do your research. Is my technology good enough for EU funding? Is my technology good enough for national funding? If it's not good enough, then how can I improve it?
Exactly.
If it's good enough, then okay, let's do some basic market research. Let's do a competitor analysis. Let's do this, because I also encounter some companies, they are like, we don't have competitors. That's impossible. That's impossible.
A red signal. That's a big red flag. If they are saying they are the one and the only, it's a huge red flag, right?
Yes, it means that you don't know your competitors.
Exactly.
And if you don't know your competitors, you might get some small funding, but there is no way you will get the big funding. There is no way you will go for, let's say an example, EIC Accelerator, where they have an equity component and a grant component. The grant component can go up to 2.5 million. The equity component can go up to 15 million. So for that, you have a process. You have first stage, second stage, and then jury day. You might pass the first stage, you might pass the second stage, but the jury day, if you don't know your competitors, if you don't know anybody, there is no way you will pass that jury day, because the jury is composed by experts.
Yes.
And experts from different areas, VC, angel investors, and from the area you're applying with. So at the end, you know, you can reach to a certain level with lack of knowledge, but when you meet with real knowledge, you are not going to pass that point.
I see. And ignorance is more dangerous. At least knowing what you don't know is also a better place to start, right? But if you claim you know everything, you're in big trouble.
What I've noticed is that most of CTOs and CEOs, they know a lot about their product. They know a lot about the technology. They know a lot about their neighbors or close competition, right? But that's it. They don't know outside their area of their comfort zone. Why? For example, they do not engage with companies from abroad. They do not collaborate with companies close to them. So if they have the option to choose a good partner from Turkey or from any country they are in, or a bad partner from Europe, they will choose a bad partner from Europe. Why? Because
I think at that stage, JM Edison's role is very important, right? You know the global arena, both in Europe, in Turkey, and also other projects doing, several hundred million of fundraising. I think you have a good understanding of which have proven track record versus which are the ones that you're not supposed to work with, right?
Yeah, exactly. So for one of the success cases that we went for, it was we went with the company from Turkey and another local partner from Kenya. So a lot of people will say, why Kenya? First,
it's one of the best digital countries in the world. They are very high level digitally.
Actually, it was more a strategic decision. Why? Because first, they didn't have competition there, no competitors. Second, their product was perfect for that area. And third, their product will create a lot of impact.
That's great.
So based on each case, we try to find the best way of acting. And for that, you have to do a lot of brainstorming. And that's actually, you do not need an expert to do that. You can do it by yourself. And for sure, you will make a lot of mistakes, but it's not a problem. Learning from your mistakes, it's a process as well. So it's the...
Can you repeat again? So one of them was the market fit. One of them was they are the first one in the market. And what was the third one?
The impact.
Impact, I see. Those were really critical. Okay.
Yes, because we have estimated that they will have a good impact with their product.
Can you define on open up impact? Is it more employment, more innovation? What do you mean by impact?
So let's say, for example, a product, let's compare two different countries. Let's compare, for example, the US and Kenya. Okay. And the US, if you enter with any product, I'm pretty sure you will have a competitor there. And you will have hundreds of competitors there. And so you cannot create any impact, right? Because a similar product is already there. But if you go to Kenya, they do not have access to your product, or they do not have access to a competition product, right? So if you enter with a new product there, whatever it's the product, you can create an impact. And you know that people will start using your product because it's needed. So that's why it will create more impact in Kenya than in the US.
Touching more people, having more, impacting more people's lives, and you know, improving lives. I see. That's amazing.
Yeah. So for example, if you go to a country like Northern Cyprus, right? In Northern Cyprus, if you go with the solution for transport, it will be great. Why? Because one of the problems they have there is transport.
That's true.
Transportation is not the best. So if you enter with the solution for that, then you will create more impact in Northern Cyprus, right? So you have to know your targeted market and your customer. Get to know your customer. So all these kind of things you will learn either by making mistakes. Some of them will be like, okay, cheap mistakes. The other one will be expensive.
Yes.
And some of them will learn from others' mistakes. And you will also learn from others' experience. So for example, someone that is knowledgeable about specific area, you should try to work with them always. Why? Because if you work with them, you will learn from them and you will grow with them. So for entrepreneurs, they have, let's say, a to-do list, right? Yes. But they try to jump each step. Each step they try to jump it instead of, no, we will go step by step. We will learn from this. We will learn from this. No, they try to jump. They try to reach quickly the market. They try to create. We had a company. It was a car company. They were trying to compete with the Bugatti. So they spent maybe 3.6 million in a car. It was a hybrid. Wow. And because they spent 3.6 million creating the prototype, they thought that they are eligible somehow to compete with Bugatti. You cannot. Yes. It's fine to reach, like, to try to establish a baseline for your competitor, but you also have to be realistic. Why? Because if you go with the competitor that is extremely established in the market, they really have the track record. They really have the resources. You cannot compete with them. Choose wisely your competition. So if you want to establish a baseline for it, try to choose a good competitor you can compete with.
I see.
This company, we recommended them to compete with, like, let's say, under budget cars, like Ferrari, whatever, right? Which it was in 100,000 euro, more or less. And they said, we don't want. We want to compete with Bugatti. I said, okay, now you have to explain what is the reason behind that decision. The reason why we spent 3.6 million in creating the prototype and the Bugatti cost is 3.5 million, 3.6 million. So we are in that. But you can know that they are not knowledgeable from the business side. They might be knowledgeable from the technical side. Why? Because they think that the cost of the prototype make them eligible to compete with this company.
I see.
The problem is making a prototype will be always much more expensive than making the real product. That's why when you are advancing in your technology business level, what you need to do is you create a proof of concept, you create an MVP, you test it with the real clients. When you test it with the real clients, you get feedback from them. When you get feedback from them, you include more features and you qualify the system to make the commercial version. When you make the commercial version, you create the value chain and supply chain, and you improve your value chain and supply chain. When you improve it, you can make a product cheaper, much cheaper than the prototype. And this is normal. But some companies, they also do not understand that the first prototype will cost much more money than the commercial product. And even if you don't have the capability to create the supply chain, you can subcontract. There are lots of companies that can commercialize your product for you. Of course, they will take a big cut from the product.
Sure.
But that's the way. So you always have to think about the set of strategies that you are willing to follow in order to reach your goals.
I see. And, you know, as you're reaching these goals, as you said, going step by step versus the startup mentality, jumping the steps.
Yeah.
But finding the right. So what is your role of JM Edison at that stage? So what are you adding? I know you have done so many things, but our companies here are, they have their MVP, they are making some money. Some are making a couple million. Some are just about to start their company. We have a mix here. And some are touching the biggest problem in the world, from carbon neutrality to medical device in periton dialysis to digital, medicine to agri-tech. We have very different profiles here. What is JM Edison's role? And if you can elaborate on that for me.
So usually it's a tailored solution. It depends on each case, right? If you come from medical devices or agri-tech, or we have to adapt the solution to your product or your innovation. The first thing we measure is, okay, tell me about your product. Tell me about your idea. Then tell me why you think it's good. So this way we try to understand the customer. We try to understand the entrepreneur. We try to understand what is their goals, what is their not only goals, what is in their mind. We try to somehow not read their mind because it's impossible, but we try to put ourselves in their brain just to understand what's their expectation. Their expectation in terms of funding, their expectation for their product, their expectation for everything. Then we recommend the best line of action. Okay, from here, we even recommend some kind of features for the product. Because if we check with the competition and we see that competition already have in the market a better product, then you have to improve your product, or you have to improve the process of making your product, because there are different kind of innovation. From there, we suggest different courses. Okay, from here to next month, you can apply to this grant. Within 3 months, you can apply to this grant. Within 1 year, you can apply to this grant. Why? Because you are not ready. You don't have the team. You don't have the resources. You don't have the knowledge. You don't have the technology business level. It depends on each case. Because based on that, we can understand better and we can build a long-term relationship. So with some clients, we had 3, 4, 5 projects. With others, we had only one. With others, we will work forever. So it depends on each case. So recently, we put Turkey on top 6 for Women Tech EU. Women Tech EU was a program to encourage the participation of women within a position of power for deep tech companies. So we pushed Turkey so hard. We pushed people to apply. We were contacting our clients and basically saying them, okay, this is the right school for you. You should apply. This is the right. And we put Turkey in top 6 for the winners and top 5 for the applicants. And this was a huge milestone. And we are trying to do the same with EIC Accelerator. We are trying to do the same with EIC Pathfinder. We are trying to do the same with other courses, because we understand the importance of innovation in a country. And the main issue for innovation is money, because a lot of entrepreneurs, either they do not have the time, they do not have the know-how, or they don't have the resources or the personnel to find the right funding for them. But the main issue is innovation, and it depends on which area, right? Because if you have a product that is for robotics or a medical device, it will cost much more to create a prototype to reach the clinical trials than software product, right?
Yes.
Or virtual reality product, or and if you are applying with artificial intelligence, what kind of artificial intelligence you have? What are the resources? How much you are spending in maintaining and these servers, for example? All the costs. So you have to take into consideration that. And any kind of area. If we talk about seeds, we had some project related to seeds. Synthetic seeds, and one of the issue was you cannot patent this. Why? Because most of seeds are already patented by 2 companies that own the entire market. There was a duopoly, and you cannot do anything. So based on that, you have you have line of action, set of strategy for the next months and next years. And based on that, you have recommendation. Based on that, you can, if you decide to work with an expert, then you can say, okay, I will focus on my product, I will focus on my company, I will focus on scalability, and they can focus on bringing the money. They can focus on this. We will provide the technical information. We will provide, because nobody knows better your product than you. So do not expect an expert to do everything for you, because yeah, that will not work. But you do, as you are the only one that knows your product, you should provide the technical information.
Exactly. So that part will come from the company, but you're providing more of the ecosystem knowledge, the process, the preparation, maybe matching with the right, also the know-how and the relationship, right? And how to write it. I mean, you can have two exact same applications, but one knows how to be written, the other one will not be written properly. And then I think how you write it is important, correct, Jack?
Yeah, the storytelling. It's extremely important, how you tell your story about your innovation. And quantification of data. Because if you are telling that your product is better, how is better? Is it 20% better than the competition? How you quantify that's information. How, show me how you have done that. You achieve 20% of improvement over your competition. So the storytelling has to be backed by quantification of data. Storytelling has to be backed by real numbers. And if you didn't reach the quantification yet, then try to reach it, or try to find small calls that help you reach that part. And the most important thing, do not think that the funding that comes from Europe or from TÜBİTAK or from any kind of organization is a payment to your pocket. No. That's for your product. Because a lot of companies, they make the mistake of thinking that, okay, we can get, for example, if we get 60,000 from here, we can put 15,000 in our pocket, and the rest we can put this in the product. No, if you said that you are going to allocate this budget to your product, do it. Why? Because the next call and the next project will be even bigger. Because you will have this snowball, right? You get small funding, then bigger. And then you can, once you have a good established company, you have, a company that will go international, then you can give yourself a good paycheck or whatever. But at the beginning, focus on your product. Do not focus on payments. Do not pay your personnel. Yes. But you as a CEO or as the director of the company, you should focus on scaling up your company.
Excellent. So you have to know your stuff, then you can help them actually.
Exactly.
Otherwise, then it's a bigger challenge.
Yeah.
When I'm looking at it, your role is extremely critical. You mentioned about 300 million euro funding, right? So far, you have achieved.
100 million.
Is that correct?
100 million.
100
we are in 105 more or less.
Excellent.
And 637 project more or less.
Excellent. So we know Turkey is receiving one of the lowest amounts. Why is that? And I know JM Edison is probably one of the highest who is bringing money to Turkey as well.
Yeah.
With credit. So tell me more with numbers. Is that impression correct?
Yes, that's true. Actually, more than 50% of the project funded in Turkey are coming from our side. And in some calls like Women Tech, we have 100% of impact. We don't have competition there. So besides identifying the right call, we also try to help the companies with their role inside their company. So we give them advice, free advice. We don't charge them anything. They can ask us about marketing strategy. They can ask about contacts. If they need a contact in Europe, if they need a contact in any associated country, even in the US, we will provide it. So in Turkey, the main problem is the lack of know-how. A lot of companies, they try to do the proposal themselves, but it's almost impossible to write an EIC accelerator by yourself without any kind of guidelines. Why? Because if you try to write it by yourself, it will take you, I don't know, it might take you 1 year, 2 years. But if either other calls, like there are some calls, maybe they have one call per year. And some of the companies, they prefer to risk to risk their time, to risk the call, and to submit themselves, even when they know realistically they are not going to achieve it. Some of the companies, they are really good at this because they have experience and previous projects, so they might go for it, right? But if you didn't achieve that experience, it's not good to go for any EU call by yourself without an expert. Either an expert can be a coach, an expert can be a proposal writing company, an expert can be someone that's applied before and has successes before. Because if you get advice from someone that never had success, you are not going to succeed.
I see.
And Turkey, when we entered, it was a huge lack of know-how, but you have a great ecosystem, innovation ecosystem. You have a great potential for innovation. And we worked with small companies, we worked with big companies. It doesn't really matter. When we see that there is a potential, they can get EU funding.
I see. So it's all about the potential. And typically, how long is the process? I know it's a very stupid question because based on the call and the structure, it can be shorter ones with lower amounts and longer ones with bigger amounts. But
yeah, exactly.
Can you give a feeling of how long it will take? The shortest and the longest, maybe.
So, for example, for Innovate, which will be the 17th of October, right, the next month. Innovate is for a feasibility study for a market outside Europe, meaning that, and you need a local partner from the country you are targeting, meaning that if you have a product that is in technology business level 6, 7, and you are trying to test it, or you're trying to proof of concept even lower in a different country, or you are trying to check the regulation in a different country, you can apply to this grant, 60,000, but you need a local partner. For that kind of project, 3 weeks will be enough. In some cases, even 2 weeks, if they are already familiar with the process and they already have a local partner, they already have market detected. If they do not know this kind of things, then 1 month, 1 week, 1 month and a week. But this is 60,000 euro, right? If you are talking about EIC Pathfinder, which is you have to have bold innovation. You just need technology business level 1, which is just idea. But you have to have this crazy bold idea that nobody has. That really does not have a competition. You can even say that it's a
really
invention.
cutting edge idea. Unique.
A breakthrough. Yeah. Then for that, as you need a consortium, and you need a really good consortium. So 2 months or 3 months max, I would suggest. For Eurostat,
so it's not that big. It's not that long process, actually, when you look at it.
Yeah.
The preparation is the preparation or call for the applications also takes a couple months before the actual application.
So no, what I'm talking is about the preparation of the application to submit the project, right? So 3 weeks, 1 month, 2 months, right? Maximum it will be 3 months. But we never had the project that we worked for 3 months because we usually, our main advantage, we try to finish the project as fast as possible. That's why we are fast innovation and beyond innovation. So, but then you have the evaluation period. Evaluation period, it depends on each call. For EIC Accelerator, it might take up to 6 weeks. For Innovate, it might take 4 months. For 4 or 5 months. For Pathfinder, it might take 4 or 5 months. For other calls, it might take 1 month. It depends on the call. So previously, since 2014 to 2018, I think when in the previous program, Horizon 2020, in Turkey, I think you had 22 SMEs that receive SME phase 1, and maybe 2 or 3 that receive SME phase 2. No, actually, it might be more, 8. So these numbers are extremely low. When we enter to Turkey, we start submitting 30, 40 proposals per deadline. If you compare the application process and how many proposals were submitted from 2014 to 2018, And from 2018 to right now, you will see that it was a huge number of applications. Why? Because we saw potential on it. And as we saw potential on it, we entered Turkey and we established our position, which is extremely strong. In Turkey, we don't consider to have a competitor, to be honest, because most of the applications that were successful are coming from our side. They are not coming from the side of any other competitor. Most clients that you will talk with or winners, they will say, oh, okay, Jack from JM Edison. He helped with this application. And the funny thing is, all of them, they know each other. Why? Because we had the success. They recommended 3 or 4 clients. They had the success, and so on and so on. So
I see. It's word of mouth. Everybody knows everybody.
Yes. We
don't
do marketing.
Smaller world.
Yeah.
So this
we don't
is
do
actually
marketing.
also lobbying power. I mean, you have a proven track record with 600 plus projects, more than 100 million euros, and they know something coming from Jack will be credible. It will not pass through your shop to begin with.
Yeah, exactly. That's why we don't do marketing. That's why we don't invest in marketing, because basically they knock our door and they say, can you do our project? We check the project. If we think it has potential, we do it. If we don't think it has potential, we say, look, we don't think it's in line with this cause. If we find a specific goal that is in line with this, then yes. But EU funding is not only about innovation. You can also find calls for trade fairs. You can find calls to attend trade fairs. They are small calls, right? But you can apply for this. Just to amplify your knowledge, just to know other companies. And you might have a better idea. You might see other companies with a product, and you might have a better idea. And that's what we call metamorphosis, right? You take an idea that's already existing, you change it, you improve it, and you create a better product.
I see. Quick question. There are many questions coming. There's a huge interest to this program. And we have attendees, for example, from Nigeria. Daniel Ayodele is here. Habun Hassan is here. We have not just our startups, but also different colleagues sending me messages. They are very excited to have you here tonight. And,
thank you.
You gave the example of Kenya, and how much money did you bring to that project to Kenya, actually? And can Nigeria be part of an application, for example? For example, Daniel Ayodele, can he come with a project from Nigeria and create a work with Bina Incubator to apply to European Union funding?
So for Kenya, it was a local partner, meaning it was an innovate project. The amount was 60,000 euros. But what's the impact of that project will make in Kenya later? So 60,000 were basically for a feasibility study. The local partner hit probably 24,000 euros, something like that. So if we have a local partner from Nigeria, we can put it with the coordinator from Turkey. But they have to have the capability. They have to have synergy, right? So the local partner from Nigeria should offer something to the coordinator.
Yes. So Daniel wants to open a place like Bina Incubator at Yıldız Technopark, which is number 1 technopark in Turkey, and Turkey has more than 100 technoparks in Nigeria. So take that innovative, business incubation process to Nigeria and create a link between Europe, innovative, ecosystem, Turkish ecosystem, and African ecosystem, since Nigeria is the gate to Africa, for example. This is just in general what he was telling me.
For that, I would suggest to start with Innovate. Start with the company with Innovate, do something for them, create a track record, and then continue with other calls. If you have a track record of being a good local partner and you deliver the work and everything, then other companies would like to join you and other calls and so on and so on. So that's why I would recommend being a local partner and finding the right company for you, and also offering something.
I see. Perfect. And so, there are other questions coming. Cem Burachal, who is the managing partner of TruckShare, actually has a very unique project. He was asking me, Dr. Yavuz, to get funding, where should we get started? So what are the minimum requirements to start getting funding from Europe? I mean, I know this is a very general question, but what is the minimum requirement? Do you have to have a company? Can you come and join as an individual entrepreneur? Things like that.
Mostly you should have a company.
Okay.
You should have at least a company. You should be in small, medium enterprise. You can be a startup for some course, but it depends on the amount. And it's also what are you offering? Are you offering an innovative product? Are you offering an innovative service? The problem with innovation in services, or in processes, it's really difficult to show. When you have a product, you can just show it. This is my product. But if you have an innovation in service, how you can show it?
I see.
Also to innovate in value chain and your own value chain. If you create a value chain, what are you using to improve your internal processes? Are you using artificial intelligence to improve your internal processes? Most of the companies, when they think about innovation in value chain, if you think in the traditional way of it, there is no innovation there. Even companies like Tesla, they don't innovate in value chain. But if you start using artificial intelligence, then you are innovating in your internal processes and value chain. So the good thing about being an entrepreneur is you are allowed to make mistakes. You are allowed to learn. You are allowed to risk, to take the risk. For fund, if you are looking from the beginning as an entrepreneur, first try to find the right innovation if you don't have one, or the right market. But you also have to have knowledge. If you don't have knowledge, it will take time to learn about that. And while you are learning about it, others, they are already progressing. They have more knowledge than you. So, and then create a good team. Create a team with people that complete you. Do not clone yourself. Try to find people with different backgrounds that can complete and put something more in your company. Diversity from different backgrounds. Right? You don't want to just say all engineers or all doctors or exactly. All man, all woman. It has to be different. And right now, like if you put, for example, if you try to find a partner that is woman and can help you progress with your company, it's much better. Why? Because the agenda for EU is to promote women, right? Equality, which is great. So and also try to build a team based on credits. It should be a meritocracy. So do not compete with your team. If you try to compete with your team, you are creating a toxic environment. If you create a toxic environment, then it's really difficult to fix it. It is. And I think Osman Murat İvegen, who is one of the, I would call, innovative leaders in dialysis, he actually invented a peritoneal dialysis, and he's about to get as soon as he gets the EU approval, I think he will be one of the top companies. He comes from a bigger company as well, Baxter. And Murat has a question here. Betül, can you read the question to Jack?
Sorry?
Can you read the question of Osman Murat here to Jack? I think he talks about Turkish partners. Is that correct?
Osman Bey, if you want, you can go.
I have two questions. Can I ask?
Yeah, sure. Please go on.
One is that to those looking for Turkish partners for European Union funds, or somebody comes and asks you that, can you find a company in Turkey? We want to make a European Union projects together. Somebody knocked your door and asked this kind of question. If yes, can you offer our Bina incubator companies, because maybe we can give what we can do. Maybe we can, Bina incubator companies, you can make a bridge. Like bridge group, you can make a bridge.
So creating a consortium is for us is easy because we have the network for it. I remember back in time when we had Fast Track to Innovation, which was 3 or 4 years ago, we had a program called Fast Track to Innovation. And it was mainly for consortium, to fast track your innovation to market. We created 15 consortium in 2 days. 15 consortium, each one of them with 3-4 companies. And it was basically just sending emails or calling, because we have the network. So we know to who, we know the profile, we know everyone that's could fit with your project, or if you could fit with their project.
Second one, So you know better than me, of course. Accelerator is a very hard to, very easy apply, but very hard to get the money. In Turkey, no one get the final result to accelerator program. What do you suggest us? If, for example, inshallah, I hope, if we pass one step pre-application and it's okay, then we make application. Then we can. I am sitting in the jury. What do you suggest us? What do you tell me that the impact words, or what can I do to pass this final stage?
So first of all, the information you put on the AC accelerator has to be accurate and clear, concise, meaning that you cannot change this afterwards, right? So you cannot, if you put in the phase one the information, then you change it in the phase two, and then jury day you say something completely different, it doesn't make sense. So try to make the same line of information. During the jury day, training, 15 days training, question and answer. That's what you have to do. Training. You have to have a list of 150 questions. That can be one from the business side, the other one from the technical side. If you're applying with a medical device or something, okay, clinical trials, what kind of medical device, what classification, how you are going to protect it. Do you have a patent? You don't have a patent. Are you patent pending? How you protect yourself from other countries? This. What is your capex, opex? Everything has to be like, you have to train for everything because they are going to ask you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you so much. We have another very interesting company. Cemil Alpay Sünetçi has 3P Metrics. He's really, posed to be global, working with very different global companies as well. And he's able to solve, and able to calculate, the carbon footprint of any company. Many of the consulting groups spend months to do that calculation. He has a verified systemic method to bring it down to a day. And that's why he's really, and with the regulations that are coming up in terms of export-import, Europe is posing to its counter-trade partners. His role is actually critical. Cemil actually had a toothache and was with the dentist. That's why I'm speaking on his behalf. I don't want to push him. As a medical doctor, I want to be fair to him. But correct me if I'm wrong, Cemil.
You are right. We have a sustainability platform, and companies can calculate their environmental impact instantly, and they can get their ISO reports instantly also. So they can prepare their company to European Union Green Deal and other regulations very easily. So I think this is sorry more for my it's really hard to speak now. Thanks so much.
Is this a BIM system or for?
It's a SaaS.
Sorry,
it's
software as a service.
Okay, but is it for? So I think your market is IEC, right? Architecture, engineering, and construction market, right?
Actually, no. Our market is for every industry. Is our markets, because if you want to export to European Union countries, you have to calculate and report your carbon footprint of your production. So if you want to continue to export, you have to do that. And if you are working with any other companies who works with European Union companies, also you have to do the same thing. So it's not just only about architecture, buildings, or the other things. It's also about the energy, agriculture, textile, automotive solutions. What you want to, what you want to imagine. Also, if you want to find financial services from your bank or insurance companies, also you have to reduce your carbon footprint, because it's getting hard every day to find cheaper money from the banks because of the Green Deal, not only to export.
And is it patented, or is it a software? Software as a service?
Software as a service.
Okay. So you might have a patent in Turkey, but you cannot have patent in Europe because it's not patentable.
We don't have a patent because we don't need a patent also. It's an open calculation method. We just changed the way to run that method. And we really reduce the calculation time up to 1 day, also less than 1 day. But in classical way, it took more than 1 year to do.
Okay. So this is what we call innovation as service, which is extremely hard to prove. There's a great example of innovation as service, because if you can show that you reduce the calculation time to 1 day or less than 1 day, and your competitors are doing it in more time, it's great, right? But how you are, from one side, how you avoid your competitors from copying your calculation method?
Yeah, every investors ask the same thing for us, and we are running this startup for about 2 years, and after our startups, 4 or 5 different startups try to copy us, and they still can't copy because we have a very great team who knows the environmental engineer know-how very well, and also our IT staff is very they're very well also, and we try to understand our customers and try to learn from them, and then we customize our softwares, our platform to our every customers, because of actually we want to make sustainability very simple, not a complex thing. Everyone can use our software. Anyone.
Can you give 1 or 2 success cases? Like, who are your clients?
Yeah. For example, Toyota Tusho is one of our clients, and they calculate their carbon footprint of their 4 different fabrics for just in 4 hours. And Acıbadem Health Group is a very big hospital group in Turkey. They have 28 hospitals in Turkey, and they calculate their carbon footprint just half a day. So also the SOCAR, you know that energy company, also they are our client, and they have more than 90 different units in Turkey, and they use our platform for more than 1 year, and they get monthly reports from our platform, and it's very successful, and still no one can beat us.
Good. The thing about protection is extremely difficult, especially in Europe, if it's a software, because you are not allowed to patent software in Europe. There are some ways where you can somehow try to protect an algorithm or something like that, but still doesn't worth it. But you have a huge market that can be a potential competitor, which is China, and they can copy almost everything, and they can copy it in 15 days, 20 days. But still, one of the main protection is confidentiality, right? Confidentiality inside the company, know-how, and so on and so on. Because if we talk, like, if we are honest, it's extremely difficult to protect software. You can't. So what you can say is basically, okay, we invested a lot of resources in protecting our software. We have confidentiality. We have a great team. We are knowledgeable about this, right? And so on. Besides, if someone tries to copy us, they have to invest a lot of resources and so on. But while they copy the first version, we are already optimizing and reaching the version 3. So they will never catch us, because we are a company dedicated to innovation. So that's always a good answer for evaluators and so on. But if your product has a great advantage, then you should go for EU funding. Definitely, you should go for EU funding, because it's a clear advantage. Look, you have already use cases, right? You have big name. You have Sochar, you have Acıbadem, Toyota, you said?
Yeah.
So they are big names. So you can get letter of intent or recommendation for them, or for EU project, and you can go for this project. it's a little bit difficult to show innovation and processes. But I don't know what kind of if it's a software as a service, are you using somehow machine learning? Are you using artificial intelligence? We don't know. So the technical side has to be described by you and so on and so on. And always with confidentiality, etc.
So maybe with your leadership, Jack, and your team, by repositioning Jamil's proposal, I see a huge chance here. I don't know if you're interested for another meeting, because with some added features, I think I can clearly see there is value Jamil is bringing to the market. And with the new regulation, if you are not carbon, aware of the limits, you are not able to trade across the borders,
Yeah, it has a huge potential, especially following the EU agenda, right, of zero footprint in 2050.
Exactly.
So it has a huge potential, especially because we are in 2023. So you have a long way to improve, and you are also helping companies to reduce their footprint, right? So it's a good innovation.
I want to correct something if you seconds. The day is not 2050s. The last day is 2030, and for 5 industries like in energy, some chemistry industries, and the steel industries, they start to pay taxes in this February.
Yeah, so you are talking about the Green Deal. Right? You are talking about the Green Deal. But Europe has a target, because to 2030, they are not going to reach a target of zero footprint. So they have another target of 2050. So yes, and so you have a huge market. I can see market in Iceland for you, because in Iceland they're really harsh on Iceland. In Iceland they're really harsh, and they are promoting, like national organization in Iceland, they are promoting a zero footprint. So even if you have project if you have a factory that generates zero waste and have zero footprint, they will give you funding. So you have potential in Iceland, which is a small country. Iceland is 450,000 people, not a lot. You have potential in Germany, you have potential in Turkey, you have potential in Spain, you have potential everywhere. So your product, now what you have to focus on is scalability, actually. You have to promote your product, because if you have the best product in the world, but nobody knows about it, it doesn't matter. How you can promote your product? From one side, collaboration agreements. From the other side, sales representative. From the other side, try to do international projects. Try to promote it on social media. Try to reach the right people. Try to partner with others. If you need investors, you can bring investors, but you have to be careful with investments, etc., etc. You have the product. Now what you have to do is make it scalable. You have to show it to the world.
Mr. Daniel asking a question in the chat. Mr. Daniel, in here, maybe you can say, if you want, I can read. Startups in Nigeria are confronted with a lot of challenges. Challenges which include insufficient capital, difficulty in getting fundings. What we are doing now as an hub is to partner with Turkish startup hubs for funding for entrepreneurs. My question is, what is the possibility of getting funding directly from European Union from Nigeria?
From Nigeria, you have to join a consortium, or you have to be a local partner. So the direct funding will be through a consortium. You cannot, it will be very, I don't think I saw, before we had this interregional calls, but if you don't find like a specific call, which usually it's a bilateral call between 2 different countries, where national organization, the thing is, national organization in Nigeria, I don't think they have the resources, or they don't have the funding allocated. So right now, Nigeria is suffering a huge change, especially in the construction sector. a lot of companies are constructing or building in Nigeria. But for funding, you have to join a consortium, or you have to be a local partner for Innovate course.
Yes, thank you very much.
Anytime.
Thank you very much. This has been very, very educating. I've learned and I've learned so much here. My question again is, I love the way you answered that question. Outside joining, outside being a local partner, is there any other way? Because what we are doing now as an hub, we don't have that access. I remember when I went to, I think, Bulgaria, and I saw some things in Bulgaria. I only had access to some of the amenities there because I joined from Turkey. Now, my question is, outside joining a local volunteer, like we are in partnership with Bina now, Bina, for instance, and we are trying to access funds for young entrepreneurs. What we are even trying to do is to bring some of those entrepreneurs down to Turkey just to access funds. So my question is, even in Turkey, can we, outside being a local partner, can we access such funding for entrepreneurs, for startups?
If you join Turkey, yes, you can. If you join Turkey, for example, you can. What I would suggest is financial support to third parties, FSTP. Financial support to third parties are basically some kind of initiative that are funded by a consortium that won a project within the European Commission. So, for example, there was a call for a specific implementing or encouraging innovation in countries, in specific countries. So a consortium of companies, for example, from Turkey, Poland, and so on, they create a consortium, they create a project, and they decide to take the grant. If the grant is 3 million, they are allowed to spend 2 million in third parties, in third countries. That's why it's called financial support to third parties. And the funding and tender portal, you have funding, which is cost, but you also have tenders, which is contract, and you have FSTP, which is a lot of people, they do not know. FSTP are financial support to third parties, and there are specifics to some countries. Maybe there you can find some countries. What's the good thing about you trying to do this is somehow you are like a first mover or one of the first movers. So if you continue implementing some kind of innovation hub in Nigeria, at the end you will create impact. Why I choose Kenya? Why I choose this country? Because it's easy to make impact. So if you can transfer the technology from Turkey, you can transfer the technology from Europe, and you can implement all this technology in Nigeria in collaboration with partnerships, because it's not cheap. Usually it's not cheap. But look into FSTP, financial support to third parties.
Excellent. I think that's great, right, Daniel? Do you have anything else to add to this?
No. That's all. I'm super happy to hear this.
Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Well, you're speaking to the top funder for Turkey, so Jack is very valuable to us. We need to hold him and carefully carry him. So.
Thank you.
I have a wonderful woman entrepreneur. Some of our colleagues, they don't want to present in Turkish. I told them, no problem. I will simultaneously translate to you if that's okay with you, Jack.
Yeah, definitely.
Sedacan Kulak, they have a very unique startup from Wisdom. So Sedacan, would you like to present? Sedacan Hanım, siz Türkçe sunarsanız ben hemen İngilizce çevirebilirim. Hiç sıkıntı yok.
Tamam hocam. İsterseniz cümle mi gidelim, yoksa ben sunayım sonra mı siz çevirirsiniz?
Böyle birkaç cümle okuyun, ben çeviririm. Sıkıntı yok. Buyurun.
Tamam. Merhaba, ben Sedacan Kulak.
Paylaşabilirsiniz. İsterseniz.
Buyurun.
Sunumumuz şöyle, çok uzun, 1 dakikaya sığmaz, o yüzden ben direkt Türkçe olarak konuşayım. Wisdom Smart Boy Teknoloji kurucu ortaklarındanım.
Sedacan is part of Wisdom Smart Technology.
Wisdom akıllı yapı teknolojileri üzerine kurulmuş bir firma. Şu anda anlaştığımız markalar çevresinde hem inşaat halinde hem de bütün binaların, yapıların akıllandırmasını sağlayacak bir teknolojiye sahibiz.
They have a very unique cutting-edge smart building technology. With their technology in real estate, they're able to get any real estate property and turn it into a smart real estate with their unique technology.
Aynı zamanda tüm bunların yanı sıra akıllı yapı teknolojilerinde önce olmayı hedefleyerekten kendi Ar-Ge ürünlerimizi de üretmekteyiz. Şu anda 5 tane Ar-Ge ürünümüz var. Bunların detaylı tanıtımını dilerlerse daha sonra gerçekleştirebilirim. Şu an için söyleyeceklerim bu kadar.
And they have also different options. I restrict them to her to only 1 minute, but if you have any questions, you can ask her, Jack. So does real estate technology would be interest, do you think, and smart building basically for smart cities?
But I still don't get the technology. Like what it does for real estate.
Biraz daha anlatabilir misiniz? Teknolojiniz tam olarak ne yapıyor Sedacan Hanım?
Anlaşma yaptığımız markaların çözüm ortaklığını sunaraktan şu anki yaşadığımız binalardan tutun inşaat halindeki binalara kadar akıllandırmasını gerçekleştirebiliyoruz.
Bu akıllandırmayı açabilir misiniz?
Tabii ki. Örnek vermem gerekirse bir evin yerden ısıtmasından aydınlatmalarına kadar, güvenlik kontrollerinden panjuruna kadar ya da evinizin müzik sistemine kadar bütün kontrolleri tek tuşla telefondan yapabiliyorsunuz. Kısacası konfor, güvenlik, teknoloji parmaklarınızın ucunda olmuş oluyor ve bunu dilediğiniz yerden nerede olursanız onu kontrol edebiliyorsunuz.
So basically, they are, turning and converting the building structure, and you are able to use any touchable technology and able to control part of the building using remote technology.
I saw this technology in different countries. Actually, I saw this in 2019, which they started turning buildings into smart buildings. Where they had a complete platform with Internet of Things. They can, for example, in the meeting room, they can set up the air conditioner before the meeting starts. They can control the entire process. They can make it more efficient, and so on. The problem with this kind of solution, they can apply for specific funding. It's not really innovative in terms of innovation, because you are using third party from one side. You are not using anything proprietary. Like Internet of Things, you are using sensors, you buy sensors, you are using tablet for control and so on. There is no innovation there. But you could apply it to a country where there are no such a thing as smart buildings to make it more efficient and so on. Or you could apply it. Nowadays, if you go to any place in Europe, in Germany, for example, and like the more advanced building, they can control everything, from the light, from the temperature, from everything. But if you go to Spain, to a specific city in Spain, it's not a smart city. They don't have anything. And in Spain, the cost of electricity is extremely high. Also in Germany is extremely high. So your solution might be good there to sell it. To apply for funding, I don't see this for EIC Accelerator. It might be good to check the feasibility study or to check the market research in specific countries. But it's also, the problem is it's easy to copy and it's not really proprietary. You don't have, you are putting together a lot of things that basically are bought from third parties.
Mm-hmm.
Unless you have like,
yani daha çok üçüncü partilerden de gelen bazı şeylerle, hani ben bu teknolojiyi daha önce gördüm diyor. Gerçekten özgün olan yönünüz var mı diyor. Oradan
var. Orasını söyleyeyim. İşte tabii. Biz zaten şu anda halihazırda akıllandırma çözüm ortaklığı sunuyoruz hazır firmalarla. Alman firmasıyla da çalışıyoruz kendilerine bahsettiği gibi.
Şimdi bu kısmı bir çevireyim bir dakika.
Tamam,
so basically she works with some solution partners. They have also German solution partners. And I asked her what is your unique area to convince Jack. So she's gonna tell me now. Buyurun.
Okay.
Şu anda bizim ürettiğimiz 5 tane Ar-Ge ürünümüz var. Aslında biz Bina Business Incubator'da bu 5 tane Ar-Ge ürünü için bulunmaktayız. Hani diğer tarafımız zaten bir şirket ve kendilerine bahsettiği
Ar-Ge ürünü ne demek? Ar-Ge ürünü ne demek? Hani 5 tane Ar-Ge ürününüz var dediniz ya.
Ar-Ge ürünlerimiz şöyle.
Ar-Ge ürünü. Ar-Ge ürünü.
Ar-Ge. Aynen öyle Ar-Ge. Pardon ben yanlış şey yapmış olabilirim. Ar-Ge ürünlerimiz Şu anda mevcut olmayan, akıllı ev sistemlerinde mevcut olmayan ürünleri üreterekten daha geniş bir çözüm sunmak istiyoruz müşterilerimize. Bizim 2 tane iş modelimiz var. Birincisi kendilerinin de bahsetmiş olduğu gibi Türkiye'de de zaten bu sistemler yapılıyor. Biz bunları yapan firmalardan bir tanesiyiz. Ancak yeni Ar-Ge ürünlerimiz sayesinde bu sisteme bir çeşitlilik getirmek istiyoruz. Dilerlerse 5 tane olan Ar-Ge ürünümüzü onlara tanıtabiliriz.
So in their pipeline they have separate 5 unique research and development products, and they are very confident, and they would love to present you the 5 R&D in the future if you have time to see if any of them will be qualified. Tabii ki buyurun diyor. İleride görüşelim, dinlemek isterim diyor. There is one more question from Cognimental, Ali Yılmaz. Ali, if you are available, you're welcome to present. Ali Yılmaz, müsaitseniz buyurun. Türkçe sunabilirsiniz. Ben çevirinizi yaparım kıymetli hocam. And Ali is actually right now, sesiniz kapalı. Right now he is at the earthquake zone and he's dealing with many psychologically traumatized patients as a psychologist. And he's doing an amazing job on the ground for the victims of the earthquake. Buyur Ali'cim.
Merhabalar. Biz Cognimental olarak aslında bir kendi kendine yardım temelli psikolojik destek yazılımı uygulaması geliştiriyoruz.
He has a very important prescribed psychology, digital healthcare solution.
Burada aslında insanların amacımız bir ruh sağlığı uzmanına veya yüz yüze bir görüşmeye bağlı kalmadan diledikleri yer ve zamanda uzmanların hazırladıkları etkileşimli içeriklerle kendi kendine yardım temelli psikolojik destek hizmetini kendilerine sunmaları.
Without meeting actual psychologists face to face, providing them an algorithm of solutions utilizing AI and able to actually have a self-helping and self-prescribing methodology for patients or consultants who are in need of psychological support.
Bunu da öfke, stres, depresif duygu durum ve kaygı problem alanlarında yararlanabilecekleri bir platform olarak sunuyoruz.
And they are using this platform with certain segments. One is anger, one is stress, one is anxiety, and one is pain, I think. And is that correct? Ağrı da var mıydı içinde? Yanlış mı söyledim?
Stres, evet.
Stress. So they have different domains where you can get deeper and then start resolving your psychological issues.
Buyurun.
No, please go. I thought you finished. Please go.
Okay.
Ve platformumuzda aynı zamanda insanların psikoloji alanındaki güncel gelişmeleri çok sade bir dille aktarılan bir yerimizde olacak. Böylelikle global çapta gelişen herhangi bir durumu çok sade bir şekilde ve bilimsel olan bir durumu algılayabilecekler.
So they have also a feature where you're able to, take the psychology and dumb it down for everyone and able to actually follow up all the developments globally with this, better stated domain. And there are many areas of very exciting improvements in this app that Ali Yılmaz is utilizing, and the name is Cognimental.
Okay. My question is this. So there are some, especially there are some people that need human interaction, right, for treatment.
Tedavi için insan ilişkilerin olması gerektiği bazı noktalar da var, değil mi? Tedavi alırken diyor. Yes.
Is the AI capable of somehow simulating that human interaction or not?
İnsan interaksiyonlarını kopyalayacak şekilde bir yapısı var mı, yok mu?
İnsan interaksiyonları derken hocam?
Yani insani ilişkiler. Mesela ben orada domainlerde öfkeyle ilgili çalışırken normal karşımda siz olsanız bir psikolog olarak öfkeyle ilgili feedback vermek gibi insani olarak da o insani tarafını soruyor. Yani normal bir psikologla yapacağım ilişkiye ne kadar benziyor diyor.
I think the internet connection is not good.
Yeah, I think we lost them. But I think that's a great question. So how much it is able to mimic the real human? Gerçek insan problem değil. Yani gerçek insan veya psikolog ilişkilerini ne kadar kopyalayabiliyor ve mimik edebiliyor?
Bizim amacımız halihazırdaki uzman yetersizliğini bir avantaja çevirmek. Ruh sağlığı arayışında destek ihtiyacı olan insanlarla mevcut ruh sağlığı uzmanları arasında büyük bir açık var. Biz de bu açığı kapatmak amacıyla bunu geliştiriyoruz. Bu anlamda da hani ilerleyen versiyonlarda yapay zeka temelli orada bir asistan uygulamayla da hani gerçek bir kişi olmayacak ancak etkileşim kurabileceği bir yapay zeka temelli bir kişiyle o modülleri işleyebilecek. Oradaki standart modülleri işleyebilecek. Ama oradan şu an için feedback alabilme gibi bir durumu hani şu an için mevcut değil.
At this level of the process we have developed, it will be able to get certain input, but it will not mimic human to human interaction. But that's not at this level, at this beta. In the future, that's also a possibility.
Maybe it is good just to describe if you need if you need real assistant, right? If you need a psychology or not. In any case, it's a good idea. There are some companies that they are trying to do AI for human resources, right? The thing about this is, we like it or not, AI is not the future. AI is the present. Exactly. We already like with ChatGPT and 150 more companies. That's the next day they started using ChatGPT to implement more innovation within AI. So I think it's a good beginning. I think it has potential. Your project has potential. I'm not sure how long it will take to achieve quasi-human interaction, because it's really difficult. And also you have to take into consideration the profile of some people, right? Some people would like to talk to a psychologist. Some people, they hate talking to a psychologist. Some people need human interaction. Some people, they do not want human interaction. They just want to know what they have, and that's it. So I can see this as a potential project. Excellent. For EU funding, because
that's amazing. That's amazing.
Yeah. It's
so Ali has a potential to get European funding if he positions it properly. Is that correct?
Yes. I will see a lot of. You will probably receive a lot of conservatism from evaluators, especially the ones that they do not believe in AI to be a substitute of humans. But in terms of innovation, it might be good. You just need to take it the right way. So maybe at the beginning is just to see if you need psychological help or not. Mm-hmm. And then it will recommend you like a list of psychologists that are, you trust or something like that. Then you can implement next level AI where it can also give a report or can also provide a possibility of what you have.
I see. Many of the apps in the United States, being a Turkish American, they use for regulatory purposes that they are not quote unquote treating. They're only providing consulting, and they were able to go through FDA clearance, not FDA approval, but FDA clearance,
Yes,
I don't know how it is in Europe. I don't know Europe, but that's how it is in US,
Yeah, especially if you want an app to act like a psychologist, I don't think they will approve it. Mm-hmm. Especially, because you need a license to act like a psychologist. Some country, they will probably ban it. But if you say it's just like for assessment to see if you need psychology or not, that will be the right path. Why? Because if it's just for assessment, then it's not treatment. It's like, an Apple Watch that tells you your heartbeat. And they say the Apple Watch is not, so it's just
not cardiologist. It's just giving you some signals.
Exactly. So if you take it that way, then it will be good. because it's for assessment of your mental health. It's your assessment or to see if you need psychological help or not. Because there are still a lot of conservatism due to AI, related to AI that can, be a substitute to humans.
Excellent. I think Ali'cim sana harika feedbackler verdi. Ciddi bir potansiyel görüyor. Bence tekrar bir görüşme yapalım. Özetle hani insan interaction'larına karşı konservatif davranacaklar ama büyük potansiyelim var diyor. Ve o açıdan bu ilişkiyi devam ettireceğiz inşallah Ali'cim beraberce.
Anladım. Teşekkür ederim.
He wants to thank you for your valuable feedback and he would love to continue the discussion and I will try to connect hopefully. Another quick question. We have last 8 minutes. I want to be respectful to your time. Birsense Cosmetic and then Subsys. So we have two companies who wants to express themselves. Birsense'den Hatice Hanım, buyurun söz sizde. 3 dakikanız var, 2-3 dakika buyurun. Ondan sonra da Enes Bey Subsys'ten. Kim uygunsa hemen konuşabilir. Son 8 dakikamız. Enes'ciğim Birsense uygun değilse söz sizde Enes'ciğim. Buyurun.
Merhabalar, hello.
Hi.
Ben de Türkçe sunacağım maalesef.
Buyur.
Bizim de bir müşteri ilişkileri yönetebileceğiniz bir iletişim sistemi ürünümüz var. Bu
Yes,
tüm
a very
iletişim
unique
kanallarından
customer relationship tool that can be used.
tüm iletişim kanallarından gelen talepleri, mail olur, SMS olur, web sitenize girmiş olur, WhatsApp'tan yazar, Telegram fark etmeksizin tüm iletişim kanallarının talepleri bizim uygulamamıza çağırıyor. Ve bu siz aktif de olabilirsiniz bilgisayarda veya mobilde fark etmeksizin hepsini bir arada yönetebilirsiniz.
Regardless you're active or inactive, any information that is coming to JAGS, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, whatever is coming through your company website, all of them, whether you are active or inactive, have been pooled in one data set.
Bunları ister yapay zeka destekli bir chatbotla otomatik olarak yönetebilirsiniz. İsterseniz
Either one option is to use it by using an AI as an automated chatbot. Another option is, diğer opsiyon.
ister ChatGPT'ye bağlar veya ekibinizle veya siz veya tüm ekibiniz 200 kişi sizin WhatsApp'ınızı yönetebilir örneğin. Tüm ekip veya
Or you can connect it to ChatGPT or you can give it to 200 people and 200 people can use your WhatsApp together to answer it.
bu tüm iletişim kanallarını bir araya toplayıp görüntülü görüşme, her dilde çeviri özelliği veya segmente etme, etiket verme gibi çeşitli özelliklerle bir CRM gibi platformda toplayıp tüm ekip bu müşteri ilişkilerini yönetebiliyorsunuz.
And with your team and connecting this to a CRM or not, you're able to actually utilize all of this and also connect with like a Zoom, a face-to-face meeting portal and able to actually manage all the customer relations. And he's able to tailor-make this per company and he's doing actually good income by building this. Background'undan da bahset abi bence kısaca.
Bu da hani bu sistemi geliştirmeden önce global pazardaki en büyük 4 tane firmanın ürünü kullanma fırsatım oldu.
And before developing this very unique technology, he was able to use and develop and work part of the biggest 4 players in the market.
Bu hani işin mutfağından bu global pazardaki milyar dolarlık şirketlerin hepsinden belli noktalarda daha iyi bir seviyede bir ürün geliştirdik. Bu
And he
ürünümüzü şu an
crafted a product from the top 4 players globally and pick and choose the best parts that are missing and created a very unique product. You looking into the competitors.
bunu her sektörden, dünyanın her yerinden insana ulaştırdık. Bu ulaştırdığımız hizmeti daha fazla sektöre veya kişilere ulaştırarak bunu yaymak istiyoruz. Bunun için ürünümüzde 10 tane dil var. 8 dil,
It
şu an
has
2 dil daha ekledik.
10 different language in this platform and he's adding 8 more. So it's a multi-language global. Let's say Jag is receiving message in Spanish, in Turkish, in Arabic, in Swahili from Africa, or in French or Japanese. All of them can be translated immediately into the most comfortable language you prefer to read the material.
Bu geliştirdiğimiz iletişim sistemini daha fazla ülkeye yaymak için bir yandan yatırım ve partner arayışımız var. Bir yandan aynı zamanda ürünü geliştirip hizmet sağlamaya devam ediyoruz. Böyle özetleyebilirim.
And we're working on different partners, building our business, and also reviewing different investment opportunities, and very interested in European Union funding to work with you. Thank you.
Thanks. If you have an app for customer relationship management and you have a functional product, which in this case is tailored because you adapt it to each company, do you really need funding? Like, do you really need...
Gerçekten fona ihtiyacım var mı? Yani zaten böyle bir CRM altyapım var ve her müşteriye uygun şekilde bunu pozisyonlandırıyorsun. Gerçekten paraya ihtiyacın var mı?
Bunu şu anda global pazardaki en iyi firmalardan daha iyi birçok noktada sunabiliyoruz. Ama bunu insanların çoğu bilmiyor. Bir marka
We are
bilineni
able to provide this service better than many of the global players in the market, but many people don't know it. So we're missing the awareness in the market.
Exactly. You are not missing money to
develop
the product or to improve the product. You are missing money to create awareness. So you might go directly for EIC blended finance, which is based on equity.
EIC blended finance'e girerseniz diyor, özellikle hisse alımı üzerinden, o uygun opsiyon olabilir size.
But you go directly for blended finance because you have an advanced technology business level. You don't go for grants.
Çünkü advanced, gelişmiş bir teknolojim var. Direkt blended finance'e gidiyorsun. Teknoloji geliştirmekle uğraşmıyorsun diyor.
Evet, bizim yatırım amacımızın hepsi ürünümüzü pazarlamak ve duyurmak üzerine. Ürünümüzün teknolojik seviyesi yeterli.
The level is advanced. All we need is marketing and awareness.
7 yıldır geliştirdik bu ürünü zaten.
The other option I would say is private investors.
Diğer opsiyon da özel yatırımcılar.
Private investors. But I still like, if you send me more information about the project and the product, I can check it and give you a better advice, because I didn't get 100% the idea. Sure. I know that from one side you can connect it to ChatGPT. I know from the other side you can give it to 200 customers. So I guess you can create your own customer database and so on. But entirely I don't get the idea. So if you send me, I will give you a better advice.
Bana biraz daha ayrıntılı bilgi verirsen daha çok yardımcı olurum. Hani bir yandan CRM veya ChatGPT'ye bağlanabiliyorsun ve 200 kişiye yönlendirebiliyorsun. Bir database oluşturabiliyorsun, ama bunu bir sonraki seviyede ayrı bir toplantı olarak ele alalım. Bana bilgi iletirsen ki ben ona yönlendiririm, tamam mı?
Olur, çok memnun olurum Yavuz Hocam. Teşekkür ederim.
He will be honored to send you the information. So I will be sending it to you, Jack, from NS, no problem. One last presentation from Birsense Health. Hatice Hanım, söz sizde.
Merhabalar, görüntüm açılmıyor ama
problem değil.
Merhabalar Jack Bey. Ben de Birsense Kozmetik olarak sürdürülebilirlik projesi yaptım. Karbon ayak izini azaltmak adına.
Tamam, burada duralım, ben çevireyim. Bir saniye.
Tamam.
So Hatice Birsen is a woman entrepreneur from Antep region. She's a very successful businesswoman, and she actually created a cosmetic brand focusing on sustainability. Devam edelim.
Ben bunları bitkisel yağlardan, bitki ekstraklarından ve gıda fabrikalarının defalo ürünlerinden, yan atıklarından bitkisel merhemler, kremler ve doğal kozmetik üretip katma değeri yüksek ürünler üretmek istiyorum. Ve bunlar da gerçekten insanlar için uzun yıllardır ARGE çalışması yaptığım için faydasını çok gördüm. Ve bunu
bir dakika ama çevirmem lazım, bir saniye. From the vegetable extracts, from the different types of things, products which are actually artificial, which are actually not being used. She has taken those and utilized them and created a sustainable form of cosmetics in the form of cream, lotion, and other things. So she's using actually a very sustainable model and very, very unique model. Buyurun Birsen Hanım.
Bunlardan diz eklem sorunları için merhemler, losyonlar, cilt sorunları için, akne, sivilceler için hepsi doğal olarak ürünler yaptım. Ve ben
from the products she produced, she has special products for knee pain, joint pain. She has also products for acne and other skin rashes. So she has different positions and different types of products ready.
Evet,
Buyurun.
ben ayrıca Gaziantep'teyim. Tabii Gaziantep'te depremi yaşadık. Üretim yerimde çöktü. Şu anda bir kadın girişimci destek merkezindeyim.
She actually went through the earthquake. Her manufacturing facility has been destroyed after the earthquake. She is in a supportive woman care facility and rebuilding her business and looking for EU funding.
Benim şu an makine teçhizata ihtiyacım var.
She needs some support in urgently in rebuilding her manufacturing in one way or another to get back to business.
Çünkü network ağımda çok gelişti artık.
She has a very strong network, very strong network.
Evet, fazla miktarda artık üretim yapmak zorunda kalacağım.
And now she wants to really produce in high quantities to able to recapture the market.
Bunun için makine teçhizat ve üretim yerim acilen çok
so
lazım
the question
bana.
is, will EU be interested in any type of support in manufacturing facilities, or do they only focus more on the other side? The question.
There might be some calls. Sorry, please proceed.
Buyurun biz.
Buna ihtiyacım var.
Okay, and she really wants to need your support. Thank you very much.
So thanks. So the thing is, EU funding usually is not to buy equipment. The cost you can include is depreciation cost for the duration of the machinery that you will use during the project duration. So, but what I would suggest is, in this case, if you have a formula or cosmetic product, which really difficult, for some cosmetic product, you need to get FDA approval for the US, and you need to get some approval for Europe. And it's a costly process, it's expensive. In this case, if you have the formula, what I would suggest is to start with Eurostage, where TESSOUKI has evolved as a national organization in collaboration with another company from Denmark or Norway, that you offer the formula, they offer the capability. This way you create a product, an end product. I would suggest to start with that. You can also apply for TÜBİTAK grants.
Size en önemli tavsiyelerim, bir Eurostar, iki TÜBİTAK diyor. Eurostar tarafında mesela siz ekstraktı veya özel formülasyonlarınızı çıkaracaksınız. Danimarka'dan veya Norveç'ten üretim kapasitesiyle bu eşleştirilerek Eurostar Avrupa Birliği ürün demek. Avrupa Birliği ürünü haline gelecek. Böylece onay süreçleri de çok uzun sürebiliyor FDA'de ve Avrupa Birliği'nde. Bunların hepsini de aşmış olacaksınız. Yani partner olarak Eurostar'dan ilerleyebilirsiniz. Tavsiyem bu diyor.
Tamam. Çok teşekkür ederim. Thank you Sheikh. Sağ olun Yavuz Hocam. Çok
Rica
teşekkür
ederim.
ederim.
This will be incredible if we can create a Eurostar partnership with her. And it's a very touching story, a strong woman entrepreneur trying to rebuild her business in a devastated area.
She can also apply for Women Tech EU.
Bir de Women Tech EU var diyor. Ona da başvurabilirsiniz. Kadın Teknoloji Avrupa Birliği diye bir program.
The thing is, the company is not a deep tech company. That's the problem.
Ama derin teknoloji firması değil şu anki firmanız diyor. Derin teknoloji. How can you define deep tech?
İşte benim makineye teçhizata ihtiyacım var tabii ki.
İşte onu vermiyorlar ama Avrupa'dan veriyorlar ve Avrupa Birliği ürünü oluyorsunuz ruhsatlama süreçlerinde atlayarak.
Evet.
Hı hı.
Evet. Tamam hocam, çok teşekkür ederim. Sağ olun.
She wants to thank you. Well, we're 5 minutes past our program.
No worries,
to not use all of our credits, and so we can come back to Jack again. I would suggest finalizing. Let me get your final words, Jack, about Bridge Global Program, what we're trying to do here at Yıldız Technopark, and also your suggestions. I would be honored to get your impressions.
Thanks. So the thing is, from all the story I heard and so on, you can see the different level of innovation, right? So you can see that ranging from AI, from medical area, from cosmetics, from
psychology,
customer relationship psychology.
Yes.
Well,
IT.
AI applied to psychology, and so on, so on. You have huge potential for innovation. You have huge potential for receiving funding, either national, European, or private funding. The only thing you have to continue is do not get distracted from your goal.
Excellent.
If you are good at something, do that thing. If you are not good at funding, don't focus on trying to write the proposal. Try to get advice, try to get help, but do not try to learn from scratch something This is going to take you a lifetime.
Exactly.
Unless you want.
No. That's why I highly recommend all my colleagues to work with JM Edison. And we will be eventually actually preparing you a portfolio for your review. And from our portfolio, you're welcome to consider. Maybe you can give some of them free application or discounted application. I will leave that decision to you, but we'll be getting back to you with a portfolio, Jack. That's my promise to you.
Definitely. And if you need any advice or anything, you can count on me at any time.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So
on behalf of
Bina
Business Incubator and this amazing evening, it was such a pleasure hosting JM Edison, Jack TESSOUKI, who has brought about 50% of the European funding to Turkey and also funded more than 300 projects, more than 100 million euros. And forget the money, he's an amazing guy, and we had such a great interaction. And we hope to continue this in learning from you. And we want to thank you on behalf of Bina Business Incubator Bridge Global Program, supported by Qatar Fund for Development, Spark, and Qatar Charity. Thank you, Jack.
Thanks a lot. It's a pleasure.
Have a great day. Before turning off, everyone, turn on your pictures. Let's do as customary, we do this, and then we shout Bridge Global, and someone takes a video. I don't know who does it, but hopefully someone will take it. Arkadaşlar fotoğrafları bir dakika açalım. Uygun olanlar. Bir sağ elimizi sallayın.
Herkes elleri, aynen. Herkes elleri kaldırın, sallıyor.
Kaldırsın. Betül Hanım, Enes Bey.
Alıyorum. Çektim. 2, 3.
1, 2, 3. Bridge Global. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Good night. Tomorrow we will be having a meeting. Yarın saat 9'da Batı Afrika pazarına girme fırsatı ile ilgili sevgili Zeki Güvercin'le beraberiz. Sevgiyle kalın. Teşekkürler. Sağ olun.